It was Christmas Eve, and 9-year-old Daniel was struggling to fall asleep. He knew he was supposed to be in bed, but the excitement of the holiday kept him wide awake. He had stayed up late, watching holiday movies with his parents before they tucked him in and reminded him that Santa wouldn't come if he wasn't asleep. Now, lying in his bed with his stuffed bear, Mr. Snuggles, tucked under his arm, Daniel stared at the ceiling. The soft glow of the Christmas tree lights downstairs seeped into the hallway, casting flickering shadows on his bedroom wall. A soft sound broke the silence, a faint thump. Daniel sat up. The sound had come from the living room, right near the fireplace. His heart leaped. Santa. Throwing off his blanket, Daniel crept out of bed. He tiptoed to his bedroom door and peeked down the hallway. Everything was still and quiet, except for the faint sound of something moving. Daniel padded down the hallway, careful to avoid the spots on the floor that creaked. As he reached the top of the stairs, he saw that the living room was bathed in the warm glow of the Christmas tree. But something was off. There was a figure standing by the fireplace. It was tall, much taller than Daniel imagined Santa would be, and it was hunched over as if it was too large to fit in the room comfortably. The figure turned slightly, and Daniel gasped. It wasn't wearing the familiar red suit. Instead, it was cloaked in tattered black robes that seemed to shimmer like ice in the dim light. A long, bony hand reached into a sack slung over its shoulder, pulling out something small and shiny. Daniel's gasp must have been louder than he thought because the figure froze. Slowly, it turned toward him, its face obscured by the shadow of a hood. "Daniel," the figure rasped, its voice dry and cold as the winter wind. Daniel's legs locked in place. How do you know my name?" he stammered. The figure stepped closer, and as it moved into the light, Daniel saw its face, or what was left of it. It wasn't human. The thing's skin was pale and stretched tight over its angular skull. Its eyes glowed faintly, like embers in a dying fire. "I know the name of every child," it said, its voice sending shivers down Daniel's spine. "Just as I know whether they've been good or bad." Daniel's mouth went dry. Are you Santa?" The creature let out a low, rumbling laugh. "Santa is gone, little one." He stepped aside. "It's my turn now." "Stepped aside?" Daniel asked, his voice barely a whisper. The creature tilted its head, as if amused by the question. "Do you think your precious Santa is immortal? Even legends grow weary. Even myths need rest. He chose me as his replacement." Daniel's heart raced. This wasn't right. Santa was supposed to be jolly and kind, not this. The creature crouched down, bringing its face level with Daniel's. Its icy breath made the boy shiver. "Don't look so frightened. I still deliver presents, but only to the deserving." "What about the others?" Daniel asked, his voice shaking. The creature's grin widened, revealing rows of sharp, glistening teeth. "The others receive my attention." Daniel took a step back, his instincts screaming at him to run. But his foot caught on the edge of the carpet, and he stumbled. The creature reached out with one bony hand, grabbing Daniel's arm before he could fall. Its grip was like ice, and Daniel cried out at the cold that seemed to seep into his bones. "You've been good this year, haven't you, Daniel?" the creature asked, its voice almost mocking. Daniel nodded frantically. "Why yes, I've been good, I promise." The creature studied him for a long moment, its glowing eyes piercing into his. Then, it let go, and Daniel stumbled back. "We'll see," it said, straightening up. It reached into its sack again and pulled out a small, wrapped package. It tossed the gift onto the couch, where it landed with a soft thud. "Merry Christmas," the creature said, though its tone was anything but merry. Daniel bolted back to his room and threw himself under the covers, trembling. He squeezed his eyes shut, hoping this was all a bad dream. When morning came, the memory of the night felt hazy, like a half-forgotten nightmare. But the package was still there, sitting on the couch. His parents were puzzled. "Did you leave this here?" his mom asked. Daniel shook his head, his stomach churning. He didn't want to open it, but his mom insisted. Inside was a small, black figurine shaped like the creature he had seen. Its glowing red eyes seemed to follow him wherever he went. Over the next year, strange things began happening. Daniel would hear soft whispers in the night, see flickers of movement in the shadows, and feel cold spots in his room. By the time the next Christmas approached, Daniel knew one thing for sure: the creature wasn't gone.
Esse é o DJ Holanda, tá lançando a nova moda. É o DJ Holanda.